on a high. I'm on like a California state of mind right now. Marissa has a tangerine tree in her backyard and she picked me tangerines. Isn't that the nicest thing you've ever heard?
Oh my god, this isn't just a failure, it's a complete disaster. Rachel Zegler, the very actress Disney chose to be their new Snow White, is now watching her career crumble right in front of her eyes. And the most shocking part? You don't even need to pay to witness it happen. Her Broadway show has fallen so low that tickets are now pay what you want. Her upcoming movie hasn't even been released yet and it's already drowning in backlash. Hollywood itself is acting like they don't even know who she is. But the truth runs deeper than poor ticket sales. This is about self-sabotage, endless therapy sessions, and the humiliation of having tomatoes hurled at you on stage. And just when it seems like it couldn't possibly get worse, wait until you hear what the people working on Ava are saying. To understand how it all spiraled out of control, let's rewind. Rachel Zegler was supposed to be the next big star, handpicked by Steven Spielberg to lead West Side Story. The film didn't bring in huge numbers, but critics praised it, and Rachel even won a Golden Globe. She was young, charming, and blessed with a powerful voice. Studios were lining up to call her the industry's next breakout talent. Disney saw her rising and thought they had struck gold. They put her in the spotlight as their new Snow White, believing she could carry the legacy. At first, she played the part well, sweet, likable, easy to root for. But everything shifted once she started giving press interviews. Instead of honoring the classic film or showing respect to its devoted fans, she went in the opposite direction. She dismissed the original 1937 movie, mocked the prince as a stalker, declared that Snow White didn't need saving, and labeled the beloved story old and outdated. She insisted this new version would focus on Snow White becoming a fearless leader rather than dreaming of love. Maybe she thought she was sounding strong and modern, but the internet wasn't having it. Her words came across as arrogant, dismissive, and steeped in what many fans saw as a woke attitude. Almost overnight, the tide turned. Audiences who were once rooting for her were now furious, and the backlash only grew louder. Twitter exploded, Reddit went wild, and Disney executives were left scrambling. Fans felt personally attacked, as if Rachel was mocking something they grew up loving. One frustrated fan wrote, "It did not help that the lead actress said she hated the original Snow White. That is not the right way to promote a remake." And you know, Disney fans don't mess around. The PR nightmare was already out of control, but Rachel only made things worse. During the 2024 election, she posted on Instagram, "May Trump, his voters, and supporters never know peace." And people were stunned. Like, hello, you're working for Disney, the family-friendly brand built on magic and nostalgia. You can't just go online and curse half the country. When backlash hit, instead of softening her tone, Rachel doubled down. Disney stayed silent, but the damage was done. The movie bombed so badly that the studio pulled the plug on nearly all of its upcoming remakes. Headlines started flying: Lilo and Stitch beats Snow White, Disney cancels Tangled remake, and one disappointing update after another. Trying to salvage her reputation, Rachel shifted gears and aimed for a fresh start on stage. She landed the lead role in Jamie Lloyd's Evita at the legendary London Palladium, a role once performed by icons like Patti LuPone and Madonna. On paper, it looked like the perfect comeback. But then came the balcony incident. Instead of performing Don't Cry for Me Argentina live on stage for the paying audience, Rachel climbed onto a balcony outside the theater and sang it for free to fans gathered on the street. Meanwhile, those inside, some of whom had spent nearly $500 for tickets, were forced to watch the moment they paid for on a TV screen. The iconic scene they had been waiting to see unfolded not in front of them, but outside, for people who hadn't paid a dime. Total chaos. Imagine paying $500 for tickets only to discover you wouldn't even see her perform live. One angry audience member summed it up perfectly: "This feels like a weird experiment gone wrong. I'm not woke or broke enough for this." From there, the internet exploded. Memes spread like wildfire, Reddit threads piled up, and even seasoned theater critics weighed in. Overnight, the most iconic song from Evita, Don't Cry for Me Argentina, was reduced to a punchline everyone was mocking. But the fallout didn't stop with online jokes. As reviews rolled in, the situation spiraled further. Theaters were half empty, ticket sales tanked, and prices dropped to rock-bottom levels. Some shows were offered for free. Others shifted to pay what you want, meaning Broadway caliber seats were suddenly going for pocket change. One user joked, "So the paying audience gets the back of her head while the crowd on the street gets the real show? Makes no sense." The irony? Critics admitted Rachel wasn't terrible. Her voice was strong, her presence commanding. But the baggage of her reputation overshadowed every note she sang. Behind the curtains, though, whispers suggested this wasn't just bad luck. Word spread that Rachel herself was fueling the tension. Crew members described her as hard to work with, not cruel, not unstable, but difficult. They said she carried herself like a seasoned veteran, even though her only major success was West Side Story. Some even claimed she clashed with directors during Snow White, insisting on rewriting lines and altering the tone to fit her vision. According to one insider, she talks like she's better than the material, like she's smarter than the story. The result? Disney quietly delayed the release, hoping the storm would blow over. Behind the scenes, editors scrambled to cut around her performance and salvage the film. But the signs of trouble were everywhere. Merchandise was missing. Toys never hit shelves. Posters were quietly pulled from major Disney stores. And the company itself went silent. When Disney refuses to speak, it doesn't mean calm, it means erasure. Something is about to vanish. And the tragedy is that Snow White was never meant to be controversial. It was supposed to be a billion-dollar nostalgia machine, a story to bring in families, kids, and die-hard fans. Instead, theaters sit empty, children aren't excited, and the only thing going viral is how quickly the film is collapsing. 2. Let's take a look at the record, shall we? West Side Story. Critics loved it, but audiences didn't show up. Shazam 2, a complete flop. Evita, turned into a meme. And Snow White, delayed, reworked, and stripped of all its magic before it even hit theaters. At this point, Rachel Zegler's name doesn't spark excitement. It sparks debate, awkwardness, and rolling eyes. When people see her face, they're not thinking, "Can't wait for her next role." They're thinking, "Isn't that the one who called the prince a stalker?" And now, Rachel Zegler finds herself in what I'd call Hollywood jail. Not officially cancelled, but definitely not celebrated. She's stuck in that no man's land where the press stops calling, fans stop caring, and studios start hesitating. She's not powerful enough to weather the storm, not beloved enough to be forgiven, and not quiet enough to fade into the background. She's caught in limbo, trapped between chasing stardom and losing her audience, between fairytale princess and outspoken protester, between the dream she thought she was building and the reality that's collapsing around her. So, here's the real question. Is Rachel Zegler just another young actress who flew too close to the sun, mistaking early applause for untouchable fame? Or was she doomed from the start, cast in legacy roles that were already broken and then left holding the blame when the audience turned on them? Because this version of Snow White, she didn't just take a bite of the apple. She devoured the whole forest, set it ablaze, and then stood there wondering why no one came to rescue her. But what do you think? Is Rachel Zegler the villain of her own story, or just another cautionary tale in Hollywood's endless cycle of rise and fall? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't seen how Jake Black recently reality checked her, make sure you click on the next video, because that one, you don't want to miss.